You know how you can copy and paste? I can copy and paste here and paste it on my laptop if I'm up here. So I was just typing out the title, the title that I just put, should we just let him treat our sister like a whore? And I copied it and I was like, oh, I remember that little trick. So I went right here to my YouTube live video and hit paste, and the title, what I just typed in on my phone, pops up here on YouTube. So if you didn't know that, and you have Apple, and you have a MacBook or any kind of iPad Air, it works. Wherever you copy your information at, on copy and paste, right click, or if you're using a mouse, you can paste it. Like you can go from your phone, type in something, hit copy, and go to your laptop, go to wherever it was, and hit paste. And whatever you copied on your phone will be pasted to your laptop. It's a pretty cool feature. Found it out by mistake. Y'all may have known that already, but I didn't know it. Top of the day, YouTube. Thanks for joining us this morning. We are live here. Okay. Joining us this morning. Okay, y'all. I didn't even put this in here. Hold on. I think it's Jasher 34. And hold on, y'all. I sent it to myself. 33 and 34. I'm sorry. Okay. Jasher 33 and 34. Okay. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is day 12 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count. We are on day 682. 682. And today, y'all, we are reading Genesis 34, 35, and 36. And the companion reading today, I call it companion reading because I know where it's found at, and it goes and it fills in the details. The companion reading for today is Jasher 33 and 34. And what I've noticed about Jasher in Genesis, the chapters where you can find the same stuff is almost consecutive. So we're reading Genesis 34, 35, and 36. In Jasher, this story is in 33 and 34. Jasher 33 and 34. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let me fix my screen. Betwabble, honey. Betwabble. Gina, hey, girl, hey. Okay, y'all. Put it right up here. Back. All right, Genesis 34. Okay, y'all. Okay, fix my screen. Move this one over so I can see. Okay, y'all. TT, hey, girl, hey. All right, y'all. Genesis chapter 34. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, went to visit some of the young women who lived in the area. But when the local prince Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, saw Dinah, he seized her and raped her. But he fell in love with her. But then he fell in love with her, and he tried to win her affection with tender words. He did that in the wrong order. Like, rape should have never been a part of that. But let's listen to the story, y'all. He said to his father Hamor, "Get me this young girl. I want to marry her." Soon Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah. But since his sons were out in the fields herding his livestock, he said nothing until they returned. Hamor, Shechem's father, came to discuss the matter with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons came in from the field as soon as they heard what happened. You could imagine them, or it was probably, did she have Benjamin yet? So it's probably 11 of them. Them 11 boys was hot. You got 11 brothers? She gonna have 12, but I don't think Benjamin was born yet. But 11 brothers? Oh, they pissed. They pissed. Think about how your brothers get if you have brothers and somebody mess with you. But imagine the extent of this. They just found out they was out there working. They just found out their sister had been raped. Boy, they probably got home post-haste fuming. And we know they were, but let's just listen to the story and the details of it. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons had come in from the field as soon as they heard what happened. They were shocked and furious that their sister had been raped. Shechem had done a disgraceful thing against Jacob's family, something that should never be done. Hamor tried to speak with Jacob and his sons. My son Shechem is truly in love with your daughter, he said. Please let him marry her. In fact, let's arrange other marriages too. You give us your daughters for sons. You give us your daughters for our sons, and we will give you our daughters for your sons, and you may live among us. The land is open to you. Settle here and trade with us, and feel free to buy property in the area. And then Shechem himself spoke to Dinah's father and brothers. Please be kind to me. You lucky they didn't rip your head off right then and there when they laid their eyes on you. You and your daddy. You and your pappy gotta go. Then Shechem himself spoke to Dinah's father and brothers. Please be kind to me and let me marry her, he begged. I will give you whatever you ask. No matter what dowry or gift you demand, I will gladly pay it. Just give me the girl as my wife. Peace and blessing, Aliyah. We're in Genesis 34. We just started. But since Shechem had defiled their sister, Dinah, Jacob's sons, responded deceitfully to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, we couldn't possibly allow this because you're not circumcised. It would be a disgrace for our sister to marry a man like you. But here's a solution. If every man among you will be circumcised like we are, then we will give you our daughters, and we'll take your daughters for ourselves. We will live among you and become one people. But if you don't agree to be circumcised, we will take her and we will be on our way. Hamor and his son Shechem agreed to their proposal. Shechem wasted no time in acting on this request, for he wanted Jacob's daughter desperately. Shechem was a highly respected member of his family, and he went with his father Hamor to present this proposal to the leaders at the town gate. These men are our friends, they said. Let's invite them to live here among us and trade freely. Look, the land is large enough to hold them. We can take their daughters as wives and let them marry ours. But they will consider staying here and becoming one people with us only if our men are circumcised, just as they are too. I know you like the fabric. Don't pull on it.
Oh, I cannot put it on.
Hold on, do me a favor. Go back upstairs with Dad, because you got to put on some pants, boo. Go back upstairs with Dad till I'm done. Okay?
Why you got this?
Because it's cool down here, and it makes me nice and warm. That's why I got it on. All right, quit putting
You got that on a shop?
putting on my mink, girl. Okay, y'all. These men are our friends, they said. Let's invite them to live here among us and trade freely. Look, the land is large enough to hold them. We can take their daughters as wives and let them marry ours. But they will consider staying here and becoming one people with us only if all our men are circumcised just as they are. But if we do this, all their livestock and possessions will eventually be ours. Come, let's agree to their terms and let them settle here among us.
Mommy,
Yes, baby girl.
can you open that for me?
I'll open that for you in a little bit. Go get some pants and put them on. Meanwhile, the rest of Jacob's sons arrived, finding the men slaughtered. Hold on, I'm sorry. I skipped the whole paragraph. So all the men in the town council agreed with Hamor and Shechem, and every male in the town was circumcised. But 3 days later, when their wounds were still sore, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, who were Dinah's 4 brothers, took their swords and entered the town without opposition. Then they slaughtered every male there, including Hamor and his son Shechem. I told you him and his pappy had to go. They killed them with their swords, then took Dinah from Shechem's house and returned to their camp. Meanwhile, the rest of Jacob's sons arrived. Finding the men slaughtered, they plundered the town because their sister had been defiled there. They seized all the flocks and herds and donkeys, everything they could lay their hands on, both inside the town and outside in the fields. They looted all their wealth and plundered their houses. They also took all their little children and wives and led them away as captives. Afterward, Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have ruined me. You made me to stink among all the people of this land, among all the Canaanites and Perizzites. We are so few that they would join forces and crush us. I will be wiped out, completely ruined, and my entire household will be wiped out. But why should we let him treat our sister like a prostitute?" They retorted angrily. Y'all got to see all the details to this story. All right, Jacob chapter 35. Genesis chapter 35. Then Yahuah said to Jacob, "Get ready and move to Bethel and settle there. Build an altar there to Yahuah, who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau." So Jacob told everyone in his household, "Get rid of all your pagan idols, purify yourselves, and put on clean clothing. Now we are going to Bethel, where I will build an altar to Yahuah, who answered my prayers when I was in distress." Remember how Esau, when he was going back home, Laban had sent the men and told Esau. He fabricated the story a little bit, which rekindled Esau's anger. And Yahuah answered Jacob's prayer when he cried out to him. So on the road to Esau meeting Jacob, he ran into 4 groups of forces who had all kinds of war instruments, and he assumed them to be Jacob's men. That was the prayer that Yahuah answered when Jacob cried out when he was in distress. That's what he's talking about here. Listen. And by the time Esau had got to Jacob, all that anger on the inside of him had been extinguished for fear of his own life. And by this time, when he finally got to Jacob, he greatly feared for his own life. All right. We are going now to Bethel, where I will build an altar to Yahuah, who answered my prayers when I was in distress. He has been with me wherever I have gone. So they gave Jacob all their pagan idols and earrings, and he buried them under the great tree near Shechem. As they set out, a terror from Yahuah spread over the people in all the towns of that area, so that no one attacked Jacob's family. Imagine, y'all, just imagine. Yahuah said, have y'all ever heard Yahuah say to y'all that wherever you go, he would be with you? Imagine if we constantly remembered that. If we constantly remember that Yahuah is gracious to us and he has our back and he will be with us wherever we go. Just like Jacob had faith to tell them, listen, y'all say he was going to be with me wherever I go. Nobody's going to attack me and nobody's going to attack my family. He's going to keep us all, everything in my possession, under my care, all that concerns me, he is going to keep, right? Imagine if we went about our day just like that, knowing that peace, that Yahuah has our back, and when we cry out to him, he answers us. Listen to this. How can I say this? And even in that peace that we have, Yahuah goes before us, and I like to use this word, he terrorizes, not necessarily terrorizes, but the terror of Yah rests on the people that you come into the presence to, and they fear you greatly. Listen. So they gave Jacob all their pagan idols and earrings, and he buried them under the great tree near Shechem. As they set out, a terror from Yahuah spread over the people in all the towns of their area, so no one attacked Jacob's family. Eventually, Jacob and his household arrived at Luz, also called Bethel in Canaan. Jacob built an altar there and named the place El Bethel, which means Yahuah of Bethel, because God had appeared to him there when he was fleeing from his brother Esau. Soon after this, Rebekah's old nurse, Deborah, died. She was buried beneath the oak tree in the valley below Bethel. Ever since, the tree has been called Alam Bakuth, which means oak of weeping. Now that Jacob had returned from Paddan Aram, Yahuah appeared to him again at Bethel. Yahuah blessed him, saying, your name is Jacob, but you will not be called Jacob any longer. From now on, your name will be Israel. So Yahuah renamed him Israel. Yes, baby girl. Your shoes, go look in my room on your little dresser. I think I set your shoes up there too. Okay, go get your baby. She's on my rocking chair. Okay, Pootie, you had to wait for a second, okay? Go call Dad. Go call Dad and ask him. I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, I'm almost done, baby girl. It's a lot, Bella. Hey, babe! Do me a favor. Go upstairs with Dad and ask Dad to come down here if your brother's asleep so he can get it for you. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. So Yahuah renamed him Israel. He said, I am El Shaddai, God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. You will become a great nation, even many nations. Kings will be among your descendants, and I will give you the land I once gave to Abraham and Isaac. Yes, I will give it to you and to your descendants after you. Then Yahuah went up from the place where he had spoken to Jacob. Jacob set up a stone pillar to mark the place where Yahuah had spoken to him. Then he poured wine over it as an offering to Yahuah and anointed the pillar with olive oil. Jacob named the place Bethel, which means house of God, because Yahuah had spoken to him there. Leaving Bethel, Jacob and his clan moved on toward Ephrath. But Rachel went into labor while they were still some distance away. Her labor pains were intense. After a very hard delivery, the midwife finally exclaimed, "Don't be afraid, you have another son." Rachel was about to die, but with her last breath, she named the baby Ben-Oni, which means son of my sorrow. The baby's father, however, called him Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. Jacob set up a stone monument over Rachel's grave, and it can be seen there to this day. Now, let me bring out something. Remember when Laban came and found them on the road after they had just fled to go back to Jacob's homeland, and he came looking for his gods? And he said, "Let whoever has stolen your God, let them die." Rachel died before her time. And you know what? She did not even get buried on the cave. She didn't get buried in the cave or the grave plot where all the great ancestors were. Remember, there was a specific plot that Abraham had purchased that was passed down. And she did not get even buried. She did not even get buried there. She was just buried along the way. I mean, they could have went to the place and buried her, but they didn't. You know, there could have been circumstances mitigating that or keeping that from happening. But I truly believe it's because of what she did. Even though she thought she was doing something right to keep her husband and her family safe from her father, but Jacob had spoken before he knew his wife, especially the wife that he loved, actually had taken what her father was looking for. So what Jacob had spoken has come to pass right here with this last child, Benjamin, and she died on the way. But guess what? Leah was buried right beside Jacob in the cave, in the plot of land, in the burial site that was purchased and passed down. So she was buried beside Jacob. And she was his first wife. She was the wife Yahuah had chosen, right? Okay. Yisalili knew his sons weren't going to take that easy, especially when it comes to their sister Dinah. But all this was the Most High to root them out of the land that belongs to them, that Canaan stole. Yes, you're absolutely right, Aliyah. You're absolutely right. Yisalili was not laying down, and his sons, Jacob, for those that don't know what Yisalili is, I think everybody on Facebook knows because I used to say it all the time. Yisalili is the proper term for Israel. Matter of fact, if you listen to people from India in that area who are actually speaking, not the ones that's on TV for show and in the news and stuff, but you will hear them when they refer to Israel, they will call Israel Yisolili. And it blew my mind. I was like, oh, snap. Oh, so I thought it was pretty cool actually hearing them. It was actually people from India when they were talking about Israel, you would hear them say Yisolili. Okay. Then Jacob traveled on the camp beyond Midal Edgar. While he was living there, Reuben had intercourse with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Jacob soon heard about it. These are the names of the 12 sons of Jacob. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's oldest son, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's servant, were Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, were Gad and Asher. And remember, Dinah was also the son of Leah and Jacob. These are the names of the sons who were born to Jacob at Paddan Aram. So Jacob returned to his father Isaac and Mamre, which is near Kiriath Arba, now called Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac both have lived as foreigners. Isaac lived for 180 years. Then he breathed his last and died at a ripe old age, joining his ancestors in death. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Okay, our last chapter for today in Genesis, and then we're going to jump into Jasher 33 and 34 to fill in all the missing pieces of this story about the details of what happened right after Dinah got raped and what the band of brothers did, boy. This is the account of the descendants of Esau, also known as Edom. Remember, anytime you hear Edom in the Bible, it's also Esau, but it's also Kittim or Chittim. So anytime you hear Esau, Edom, Chittim, Kittim is talking about the same people. They just changed the names over time. Okay, this is the account of the descendants of Esau, also known as Edom. Esau married two young women from Canaan, Ada, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Oholibamah, the daughter of Anna and granddaughter of Zibeon the Hivite. He also married his cousin Basemath, who was the daughter of Ishmael and the sister of Nebaioth. Ada gave birth to a son named Eliphaz for Esau. Basemath gave birth to a son named Ruel. Oholibamah gave birth to sons named Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. I'm sorry, y'all, I screwed these names up. I'm not that good with pronouncing them all properly. All these sons were born to Esau in the land of Canaan. Esau took his wives, his children, and his entire household, along with his livestock and cattle, all the wealth he had acquired in the land of Canaan, and moved away from his brother Jacob. There was not enough land to support them both because of all the livestock and possessions they had acquired. So Esau, also known as Edom, settled in the hill country of Seir. This is the account of Esau's descendants, the Edomites who lived in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Esau's wife, Ada, and Ruel, the sons of Esau's wife, Basemath. The descendants of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Timnah, the concubine of Esau's son Eliphaz, gave birth to a son named Amalek. These are descendants of Esau's wife, Ada. The descendants of Ruel were Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the descendants of Esau's wife, Basemath. Esau also had sons through Oholibamah, the daughter of Anna and granddaughter of Zibeon. Their names were Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the descendants of Esau who became the leaders of various clans. The descendants of Esau's oldest son, Eliphaz, became the leaders of the clans of Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These are the clan leaders in the land of Edom who descended from Eliphaz. All these were descendants of Esau's wife, Ada. The descendants of Esau's son Ruel became leaders of the clans of Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the clan leaders in the land of Edom who descended from Ruel. All these were descendants of Esau's wife, Basemath. Let me just mention something here, y'all. When y'all go through and y'all actually start reading, don't skip over the genealogies. They put them there for one. It's a roadmap so you can kind of track back if you decide to look into all that. But it will help you immensely. You can kind of put some pieces together. I know I didn't realize that when I first started, reading through the Bible. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got all these darn names. I'm like, and I would skip them. Being honest, I was like, yep. I skip all the way to when the story began. But I realized by me doing that, I was missing some pieces and I wasn't able to connect some of the books because when it mentions certain names again, it connects back to the clan or whether it's the promise or somebody who was pissed about it. So get into the habit. I know sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, his names, I don't even know what it's saying, but at least get familiar with them. Lay your eyes on them. I'm telling you, it's going to help you, especially those who do research and actually just doing deeper research into the truth, and trying to track back people. So you will find a lot of that in the genealogies. And when you do the genealogies, when you go to another place, when you recognize the names, you will notice if something is off. I'm telling you from personal experience. The descendants of Esau and his wife, Oholibamah, became the leaders of the clans of Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the clan leaders who descended from Esau's wife, Oholibamah, the daughter of Anna. These are the clans descended from Esau, also known as Edom. Remember how it keeps repeating, also known as Edom. Esau is also known as Edom. Identify their clan by leaders. These are the names of the tribes that descended from Seir the Horite. They lived in the land of Edom: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishon. These are the Horite clan leaders, the descendants of Seir who lived in the land of Edom. The descendants of Lotan were Hori and Heman. Lotan's sister was named Timnah. The descendants of Shobal were Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shephel, and Onam. The descendants of Zibeon were Aya and Anna. This is the Anna who discovered the hot springs in the wilderness while he was grazing his father's donkeys. The descendants of Anna were his son Dishon and his daughter Oholibamah. The descendants of Dishon were Hemdan, Ishban, Ithran, and Kuran. The descendants of Ezer were Bilhan, Zavan, and Akan. The descendants of Dishan were Uz and Aran. So these were the leaders of the Horite clans: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishan, Ezer, and Dishan. The Horite clans are named after their clan leaders who lived in the land of Seir. So the clans were named after their leaders. So like perfect like I do my name Murphy tribe. My husband's last name is Murphy. When we got married, I took his last name. So on our social media and stuff, our name is Murphy tribe. We're identified by our leader, so to speak. I figured it was a good example. But if not, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I was just trying to think of a good example. All right. These are the kings who ruled in the land of Edom before any king ruled over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, who ruled in Edom from his city Dinhabah. When Bela died, Joab, son of Zerah from Basra, became king in his place. When Jobab died, Husham from the land of the Timonites became king in his place. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Bedad, became king in his place and ruled from the city Avith. He was the one who defeated the Midianites in the land of Moab. When Hadad died, Samlah from the city of Mezrikah became king in his place. When Samlah died, Shual from the city of Rehoboth on the river became king in his place. When Shual died, Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, became king in his place. When Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, died, Hadad became king in his place and ruled from the city of Pau. Yes.
Upstairs.
And it's up there on the hook too. You got to look through them. I took the long my name off of it because it was broken. But keys are up there. When Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, died, Hadad became king in his place and ruled from the city of Pau. His wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred and granddaughter of Mezahab. These are the names of the leaders of the clans descended from Esau who lived in the places named for them: Timnah, Alva, Jahath, Oholibamah, Elah, Pinan, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and in Eram. These are the leaders of the clans of Edom, listed according to their settlements in the land they occupied. They all descended from Esau, the ancestor of the Edomites. Okay, we're done with that. All right, y'all. So let's jump over to Jasher 33 and 34 so we can fill in what happened to Shechem and his daddy after Shechem raped Dinah. Wrong keys, Tootie. So,
Mom, I already did.
you already did? Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all. I see those are my car keys. It's the other ones up there, Pooh. See the other ones?
Broken.
Okay, figure it out, baby girl. You will get it. Okay, y'all. Jasher chapter 33. And then sometime after Jacob went away from the borders of the land, and he came to the land of Shalem, that is the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, he rested in the front of the city. He bought a parcel of the field which was there from the children of Hamor, the people of the land, for 5 shekels. And Jacob there built himself a house. And Jacob there built himself a house, and he pitched his tent there, and he made Sukkah for his cattle. Therefore, he called the name of that place Sukkah. Remember the annual fall feast, Sukkot. The Jewish people call it Sukkot, but it's also known as the Feast of Booths or Tabernacles or Shelters. This is what it's talking. It's not talking about the feast, but that's why they called it Succoth, and the town was called Succoth because he built booths. All right. And Jacob remained in Succoth a year and 6 months. At that time, some of the women of the inhabitants of the land went to the city of Shechem to dance and rejoice with the daughters of the people of the city. And when they went forth, Rachel and Leah, the woman of Jacob, with their families, also went to behold the rejoicing of the daughters of the city. They should have probably stayed home that day, right? Listen. And Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, also went along with them and saw the daughters of the city. And they remained there before these daughters, while all the people of the city were standing by them to behold their rejoicings. And all the people and all the great people of the city were there. And Shechem, the son of Hamor, the prince of the land, was also standing there to see them. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, sitting with her mother before the daughters of the city, and the damsel pleased him greatly. And there he asked his friends and his people, saying, whose daughter is that sitting amongst the women whom I do not know in this city? And they said unto him, surely this is the daughter of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the Hebrew, who has dwelt in this city for some time. And when it was reported that the daughters of the land were going forth to rejoice, she went with her mother and maid servant to sit amongst them, as you see. Let me remind y'all of something. Remember, I think it was yesterday when we was talking about how when they first entered into the land, he hid Dinah in a chest. That, remember I said, I don't know what's going on with them in this chest and them hiding their women in there. But notice they always hide their most prized, most beautiful possession in chests for fear that the natives of the land that they were about to enter into may look at them and try to take them to themselves and kill them. He did the same thing with his daughter when they entered in, just like Abraham did with Sarah. That story you'll find in Jasher. You won't find it in the Bible. They cut that part out, but he hid Sarah in the chest the first time. And even Isaac hid Rebekah in the chest. And so Jacob, all of them, Abraham and Isaac, they all had a chest that they hid their prized possession in. So Jacob hid his daughter in a chest. And I think that we read that part yesterday. If you missed it, go back and listen to yesterday's video or find a reading from yesterday, which is Jasher chapter 32, and you'll find it. I believe it's in Jasher 32 or the day before. Okay, y'all. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and when he looked at her, his soul became fixed upon Dinah. And he sent and had her taken by force. And Dinah came to the house of Shechem, and he seized her forcibly and lay with her and humbled her. And he loved her exceedingly and placed her in his house. And they came and told the thing unto Jacob. And when Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah, Jacob sent 12 of his servants to fetch Dinah from the house of Shechem. And they went and came to the house of Shechem to take Dinah away from there. Also, we read in the Bible, when this happens, it looks like Jacob was just, oh my gosh, they took my daughter. He told his sons. It doesn't even say, because I was pissed with Jacob for a minute until I started reading. I was like, you didn't even go try and get your daughter? So that's why I say we like to fill in these places, because some of the misunderstandings and even some of the misguided teachings that we're taught from some of these stories back here lack information, and it gives us a different outlook on what actually happened there. So Jacob did, as soon as he found out, he sent 12 of his men, go get my daughter. Okay, so listen. I just wanted to bring it out if y'all, if you missed that. Okay. And they came and told the thing unto Jacob. And when Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah, Jacob sent 12 of his servants to fetch Dinah from the house of Shechem. And they went and came to the house of Shechem to take Dinah away from there. And when they came, Shechem went out to them with his men and drove them from his house. And he would not suffer them to come before Dinah. But Shechem was sitting with Dinah, kissing and embracing her before their eyes. I'm like, where are the archers? I want you to get him right between his eyes. Bruh, don't play with me. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. My blood boils when I read some of these stories, and I know the outcome of it, but it's still, I just go through all the emotions every time I read it. Okay. And the servants of Jacob came back and told him, saying, when we came, he and his men drove us away, and thus did Shechem do unto Dinah before our eyes. And Jacob knew, moreover, that Shechem had defiled his daughter, but he said nothing. And his sons were feeding his cattle in the field, and Jacob remained silent till their return. And before his sons came home, Jacob sent two maids from his servants' daughters, to care for Dinah in the house of Shechem and to remain with her. And Shechem sent three of his friends to his father Hamor, the son of Hiddekem, the son of Peret, saying, "Get me this damsel for a woman." And Hamor, the son of Hiddekem the Hivite, came to the house of Shechem his son, and he sat before him. And Hamor said unto his son Shechem, "Is there no woman amongst the daughters of your people that you will take an Hebrew woman who is not of your people?" And Shechem said to him, "Her only must you get for me. She is delightful in my sight." And Hamor did according to the word of his son, for he greatly beloved him. And Hamor went forth to Jacob to commune with him concerning this matter. And when he had gone from the house of his son Shechem, before he came to Jacob to speak unto him, behold, the sons of Jacob had come from the field as soon as they heard the thing that Shechem, the son of Hamor, had done. And the men were very much grieved concerning their sister, and they all came home fired with anger before the time of the gathering of their cattle. They left their animals, everything out in the field. They out, let's go, let's go. And the time came and set before and they came and set before their father, and they spoke unto him, kindled with wrath, saying, "Surely death is due to this man and his household, because Yahuah, Elohim of the whole earth, commanded Noah and his children that man shall never rob nor break wedlock. Now behold, Shechem has both ravaged and committed fornication with our sister, and not one of all the people of the city spoke a word to him. Surely you know and understand that the judgment of death is due to Shechem and to his father and to the whole city on account of the thing which he has done." And while they were speaking before their father in this manner, behold, Hamor, the father of Shechem, came to speak to Jacob the words of his son concerning Dinah, and he sat before Jacob and before his sons. And Hamor spoke unto them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. I pray you give her unto him. I pray you give her unto him for a woman, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and we will give you our daughters, and you shall dwell with us in our land, and we will be as one people in the land. For our land is very extensive, so dwell ye and trade therein, and get possessions in it, and do therein as you desire." Excuse me, "and no one shall prevent you by saying a word to you." And Hamor ceased speaking unto Jacob and his sons, and behold, Shechem his son had come after him, and he sat before them. Oh, the audacity of you, my G. You show your face in my house. They lucky they live this long to even open their mouth and utter any kind of word, because Lord knows I'd have killed them right on the spot. Okay. And Shechem spoke before Jacob and his son, saying, "May I find favor in your sight, that you will give me your daughter. And whatsoever you say unto me, that I will do for her. Ask me for an abundance of dowry and gift, and I will give it. And whatsoever you shall say unto me, that I will do. And whosoever he be that will rebel against your orders, he shall die. Only give me the damsel for a woman." And Simeon and Levi answered Hamor and Shechem his son deceitfully, saying, "All you have spoken unto us, we will do for you." And listen to listen to the wisdom that they use. And this wisdom, mind you, is from Yahuah. So all that's about to happen is from Yahuah himself, because Levi and Simeon, they all rightfully spoke. They said, "Did not Yahuah tell us, even to our grandfather Noah, didn't he tell us that whoever does a thing like this should die? Them, everything they own, their cattle, and everybody of the city, because this thing should not be done, especially not to one of the daughters of Zion," right? Only if we knew, only if the daughters of Zion today knew, first of all, that they are the daughters of Zion, and all that is being done to their offspring, we could stop what we're doing right now, man. And behold, our sister is in your house, but keep away. I'm sorry, let me go back to 29. And Simeon and Levi answered Hamor and Shechem his son deceitfully, saying, "All you have spoken unto us, we will do for you. And behold, our sister is in your house, but keep away from her until we send to our father Isaac concerning this matter. For we can do nothing without his consent. For he knows the ways of our father Abraham, and whatsoever he says unto us, we will tell you. We will conceal nothing from you. And Simeon and Levi spoke this unto Shechem and his father in order to find a pretext and to seek counsel what was to be done to Shechem and to his city in this manner. And when Shechem and his father heard the words of Simeon and Levi, it seemed good in their sight, and Shechem and his father came forth to go home. And when they had gone, the sons of Jacob said unto their father, saying, Behold, we know that death is due to these wicked ones and to their city, because they transgressed that which Yahuah had commanded unto Noah and his children and his seed after them. Y'all probably, if y'all reading along, y'all might want to highlight that, like just the whole chapter. Like when you pray your prayers and you see injustice being done to the sons and daughters of Jacob, remember this. Remember this story and cry out to Yah. All our sons and daughters that are being murdered in the streets, cry out to the God of heaven, Yahuah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and remind him of his covenant that he has with us, the blood-born house of Zion. And watch us see Yahuah show up for us. Stop calling on names that do not benefit the daughters, the sons and daughters of Zion. That is not the name we should be calling on. The only name that the sons and daughters of Zion should be calling on is Yahuah, the same God that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and all their posterity, all their descendants called on. We should call on him, call on that name, and watch things begin to change. And also, because Shechem did this thing to our sister Dinah, and defiling her for such vileness shall never be done amongst us. Now therefore know and see what you will do, and seek counsel and pretext what is to be done unto them, in order to kill all the inhabitants of this city. And Simeon, what is that boy name? Okay. If y'all reading along in the Sefer, you will notice that I'm using the names that everybody is familiar with. But in here it says Shimeon. So sometimes I look at it and I forget what the name is. So what's the name? Simeon? Simon? It's Simeon. Okay. Simeon and Levi. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Now, therefore, know and see what you will do, and seek counsel and pretext what shall be done to them, in order to kill all the inhabitants of this city. And Simeon said to them, here is a proper advice for you. Tell them to circumcise every male amongst them as we are circumcised. And if they do not wish to do this, we shall take our daughter from them and go away. And if they consent to do this and will do it, then when they are sunk down with pain, because mind you, these are the man's the family jewels, So even if, mind you, they are older now. Today here in North America and then some other places, they circumcise the men when they're babies, the male children when they're babies. Just imagine these being grown men, war fighting men, being circumcised in their older age, probably like 20s, 30s, maybe some on 40s. But imagine them being circumcised at that age. Yeah, they could be out for the count for a few days while their man parts are healing, right? Listen. And if they consent to do this and will do, then when they are sunk down with pain, we will attack them with our swords as upon one who is quiet and peaceable, and we will slay every male person amongst them. And Simeon's advice pleased them, and Simeon and Levi resolved to do unto them as it was proposed. On the next morning, Shechem and Hamor his father came again unto Jacob and his sons to speak concerning Dinah, and to hear what answer the sons of Jacob would give to their words. And the sons of Jacob spoke deceitfully to them, saying, we told our father Isaac all your words, and your words pleased him. But he spoke unto us, saying, thus did Abraham his father command him from Yahuah of the whole earth, Yahuah, the God of the whole earth, that any man who is not of his descendants that should wish to marry to take one of his daughters shall cause every male belonging to him to be circumcised as we are circumcised, and then we may give him our daughter for a woman. Now we have made known to you all our ways that our father spoke unto us, but we cannot do this of which you spoke unto us, to give our daughter to an uncircumcised man, for it is a disgrace unto us. But herein will we consent to you to give you our daughter, and we will also take unto ourselves your daughters, and we will dwell amongst you and be as one people as you have spoken. If you will hearken unto us and consent to be like us, to circumcise every male belonging to you as we are circumcised. And if you will not hearken unto us to have every male circumcised as we are circumcised, as we have commanded, then we will come to you and take our daughter from you and go away. And Shechem and his father Hamor heard the words of the sons of Jacob, and the thing pleased them exceedingly. And Shechem and his father Hamor hastened to do the wishes of the sons of Jacob. For Shechem was very fond of Dinah, and his soul was riveted to her. And Shechem and his father Hamor hastened to the gate of the city, and they. All right, y'all. I'm sorry, I want to click y'all off by mistake, YouTube. Okay. And Shechem and his father Hamor hastened to the gate of the city, and they assembled all the men of their city, and spoke unto them the words of the sons of Jacob, saying, We came to these men, the sons of Jacob, and we spoke unto them concerning their daughter. And these men will consent to do to our wishes. And behold, our land is of great extent for them, and they will dwell in it and trade in it, and we shall be one people. We will take their daughters, and our daughters we will give unto them for women. But only on this condition will these men consent to do this thing, that every male amongst us be circumcised as they are circumcised, as their God commanded them. And when we shall have done according to their instructions to be circumcised, then will they dwell among us, together with their cattle and possessions, and we shall be as one people with them. And when all the men of the city heard the words of Shechem and his father Hamor, then all the men of the city were agreeable to this proposal, and they obeyed to be circumcised. For Shechem and his father were greatly esteemed by them, being the princes of the land. And on the next day, Shechem and Hamor his father rose up early in the morning, and they assembled all the men of their city into the middle of the city, and they called for the sons of Jacob, who circumcised every male belonging to them on that day and the next. And they circumcised Shechem and Hamor his father, and the 5 brothers of Shechem. And then everyone rose up and went home, for this thing was from Yahuah against the city of Shechem. And from Yahuah was Simeon's counsel in this manner, in order that Yahuah might deliver the city of Shechem into the hands of Jacob's 2 sons. Okay, y'all. Jasher chapter 34. Now it's about to get into it, y'all. Okay, let me just highlight this real quick. Jasher chapter 34. And the number of all the males that were circumcised were 645 men and 246 children. But Hiddekim, the son of Pered, the father of Hamor, and his 6 brothers would not listen unto Shechem his father and his father Hamor, and they would not be circumcised. For the proposal of the sons of Jacob was loathsome in their sight, and their anger was greatly roused at this, that the people of the city had not hearkened to them. And in the evening of the 2nd day, they found 8 small children who had not been circumcised, for their mothers had concealed them from Shechem and his father Hamor, and from the men of the city. And Shechem and his father Hamor sent to have them brought before them to be circumcised, when Hiddekim and his 6 brothers sprang at them with their swords and sought to slay them. And they sought to slay also Shechem and his father Hamor, and they sought to slay Dinah with them on the account of this man. So you got a few men that did not agree to being circumcised, because they said, no, we're not going to do this. So they didn't get circumcised, and they found the remaining small children, the male children who had not been circumcised, and they took them to protect them. Okay, so listen to why they thought this thing was a disgusting thing in their sight, and they should not make this agreement with the sons of Jacob, right? Listen to this. And they said unto them, What is this thing that you have done? Are there no women amongst the daughters of your brethren of the Canaanites that you wish to take unto yourselves, daughters of the Hebrews? whom ye knew not before? And will ye do this act which our fathers never commanded you? Do you imagine that you will succeed through this act which you have done? And what will you answer in this affair to your brothers, the Canaanites, who will come tomorrow and ask you concerning this thing? And if your act shall not appear just and good in their sight, what will you do for your lives and me for our lives? And you're not having hearkened to our voices. And if the inhabitants of the land and all your brethren, the children of Ham, shall hear of your act, saying, on account of a Hebrew woman did Shechem and Hamor his father and all the inhabitants of their city do that which they had been unacquainted with, and which their ancestors never commanded them, where then will you fly, or where conceal your shame all your days before your brethren, the inhabitants of the land of Canaan? Now, therefore, we cannot bear up against this thing which you have done. They said, we can't do this, y'all. And if y'all were smart, everybody remaining of you, y'all wouldn't do it either. Said, now, therefore, we cannot bear up against this thing which you have done, neither can we be burdened with this yoke upon us, which our ancestors did not command us. Behold, tomorrow we will go and assemble all our brethren, the Canaanite brethren who dwell in the land, and we will all come and smite you and all those who trust in you, that there shall not be a remnant left from you or them. Now their own people and the sons of Jacob is about to kill them. Listen to this. Listen to what Hamor and Shechem say. And when Hamor and his son Shechem and all the people of the city heard the words of Hiddekem and his brothers, they were terribly afraid of their lives at their words, and they repented of what they had done. And Shechem and his father Hamor answered their father Hiddekem and his brethren, and they said unto them, all the words which you spoke unto us are true. Now, do not say nor imagine in your hearts that on the account of the love of the Hebrews we did this thing, that our ancestors did not command us, but because we saw that it was not their intention and desire to accede to our wishes concerning their daughter as to our taking her, except on this condition. So we hearkened to their voices and did this act which you saw in order to obtain our desire from them. So essentially what he said, we don't love them. We don't love the Hebrews, but we knew it would be war if we didn't concede to their wishes. So since this was a peaceable way of conducting this transaction where Shechem could marry Dinah, we decided to do this thing. But don't let it be said it was because we loved the Hebrews that we did this thing. No, we looked for the road with least resistance in order to accomplish what we wanted. Listen furthermore to what they say. And when we shall have obtained our request from them, we will then return to them and do unto them that which you say unto us. So what he's saying is, he said, once we do this and this is done, we essentially gonna go back on our word, and we're gonna go in there and we pretty much gonna take them out and we're gonna steal all their possessions. But Yahuah has foresight, and he knew all of this ahead of time. That's why the counsel that Simeon and Levi came up with to slaughter the whole city, it came directly from Yah, right? So Yahuah is directly behind the affairs of the sons of men on earth. Remember, just like Daniel said, Yahuah rules in the kingdom of men. Never forget that. Doesn't matter who's in charge, what kingdom, what continent you're on, who's in charge. Yahuah rules in the kingdom of men, right? We beseech you then to wait and tarry until our flesh be healed, and we again become strong, and we will then go together against them and do unto them that which is in your hearts and in ours. And Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, heard all these words which Hiddekem and his brothers had spoken, and what Hamor and his son Shechem and the people of their city had answered them. And she hastened and sent one of her maidens that her father had sent to take care of her in the house of Shechem to Jacob her father and to her brethren, saying, thus did Hiddekem and his brothers advise concerning you, and thus did Hamor and Shechem and the people of the city answer them. And when Jacob heard these words, he was filled with wrath, and he was indignant at them, and his anger was kindled against them. And Simeon and Levi swore and said, as Yahuah lives, the God of the whole earth, by this time tomorrow there shall not be a remnant left in the whole city. And 20 young men had concealed themselves who were not circumcised, and these young men fought against Simeon and Levi, and Simeon and Levi killed 18 of them, and 2 fled from them and escaped to some lime pits that were in the city. And Simeon and Levi sought for them, but could not find them. And Simeon and Levi continued to go about in the city, and they killed all the people of the city at the edge of the sword, and they left none remaining. And there was a great consternation in the midst of the city, and the cry of the people of the city ascended to heaven, and all the women and children cried aloud. So when they said they went and killed everything, this particular time, they only killed the men. They left the women and children. They actually took the women and children as captives for them, and they brought them back to their camp. But all the men, they slaughtered. And there was a great consternation in the midst of the city, and the cry of the people of the city ascended to heaven, and all the women and children cried aloud. And Simeon and Levi slew all the city, and they left not a male remaining in the whole city. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son at the edge of the sword, and they brought Dinah away from the house of Shechem, and they went from there. She probably was like, about time. I've been waiting for y'all. She knew they was coming for her. And the sons of Jacob went and returned and came upon the slain and spoiled all their property, which was in the city and the field. And another thing, let me just throw my 2 brown pennies in here, my 2 cents worth. I also personally think that a lot of this was not canonized, first of all, because the true sons and daughters of Jacob would realize, wait a minute, this is talking about us. This is talking about our folk. And another reason would be because when the sons and daughters realized who they were, and the mighty one who sits and watches over them and fights with them would realize that they can cry out to him, and he would begin to come down here and fight for us. But also, let's go back. Yahuah said we'll be in captivity for 400 years. So the sentence had to be served. The sentence, because of the disobedience and turning away from Yahuah's law, statutes, and commands, it had to be served. And we had to carry that out. But also, if we read, although we were to serve in captivity for 400 years, some of the more harsh and vile things that happened to us while we served in our 400 years, Yahuah said, I did not authorize that. They were only to put the sons and daughters of Jacob to hard labor. But a lot of other stuff that they did, raping, killing, tearing the babies from the mothers, the pregnant mothers, feeding our sons and daughters to alligators, all those things, lynching us, all this stuff, all of those things Yahuah also addresses. He said they went over and beyond what I authorized them to do. And I'm summing this up in my words, which you can find that in, I believe it's Hosea. And I want to say, was it Amos? Let me make myself a note. I'm going to find it so y'all can see it. Hold on. So y'all can see it if y'all have never seen that. Yahuah addresses. Matter of fact, me and my son, Jeremiah, was talking about this yesterday too. Jeremiah, he be getting heated, boy. He be like, didn't they go over and beyond what Yahuah authorized them to do to us? No, some of the stuff they were not supposed to do, and y'all is coming for their heads. I'm like, yeah, Jeremiah, yeah, you know, son. Okay, hold on, okay. Yahuah addresses. I'm sorry, make myself this note so I can remember to put this in there for y'all. Yahuah addresses how captivity went over and beyond. And Yahuah said he's going to address that after the 400 years is up, as he begins to judge the nations for what they have done to the sons and daughters of Jacob, just like he did in Egypt and past times and other nations who have raised their hands against our people, right? Yes, baby.
No, let's do puzzles.
Not yet. We're going to do the puzzles, but wait a minute. Okay, y'all. Verse 29. And the sons of Jacob went and returned and came upon the slain and spoiled all their property, which was in the city and the field. And while they were taking the spoil, 300 men stood up and threw dust at them and struck them with stones. When Simeon turned to them, and he slew them all with the edge of the sword. And Simeon turned before Levi and came into the city. And they took away their sheep and their oxen and their cattle, the remainder of the women and little ones, and they led all these away. And they opened the gate and went out and came unto their father Jacob with vigor. And when Jacob saw all that they had done to the city and saw the spoil that they took from them, Jacob was very angry at them. And Jacob said unto them, what is this that you have done to me? Behold, I obtained rest among the Canaanites, the Canaanite inhabitants of the land, and none of them meddled with me. And now you have done to make me obnoxious to the inhabitants of the land amongst the Canaanites and the Perizzites but I am of a small number, and they will assemble against me and slay me when they hear of your work with their brethren, and I and my household will be destroyed. So although Jacob had faith that Yah was going to protect them, at this point he didn't realize that what Simeon and Levi did was directly from Yah himself. So now he like, we had peace until now. Now you cause a great war to break out between us, and we are the smallest number in the land. They're all going to gather together and they're going to wipe us out. So Jacob was afraid, right? And Simeon and Levi and all their brothers with them answered their father Jacob and said unto him, behold, we live in the land in Shechem and shall... Yes, Bella. Okay, you got to wait a minute. I told you that's not the right key. Bella, don't start. Wait a minute. Behold, we live in the land, and shall Shechem do this to our sister? Why are you silent at all that Shechem has done? Shall he deal with our sister as with a harlot in the streets? And the number of women whom Simeon and Levi took captives from the city of Shechem, whom they did not slay, was 85 who had not known a man. And amongst them was a young damsel of beautiful appearance and well favored, whose name was Bunah, and Simeon took her for a woman. And the number of males which they took captives and did not slay was 47 men, and the rest they slew. And the young men and women that Simeon and Levi had taken captives from the city of Shechem were the servants of the sons of Jacob, and to their children after them, unto the day the sons of Jacob going forth from the land of Mitzrayim. Remember, Mitzrayim is also Egypt. Remember, it was named Mitzrayim after one of the sons. I forget whose son he was. I would have to look back. But the son's name was, Mitzer? I think it was Mitzer. I could be screwing that up. So they named the city Mitzrayim, or Egypt, right? Egypt in English, but okay. And when Simeon and Levi had gone forth from the city, the two young men that were left, who had concealed themselves in the city and did not die amongst the people of the city, rose up, and these young men went into the city and walked about in it, and found the whole city desolate without man, and only women weeping. And these young men cried out and said, behold, this is the evil which the sons of Jacob, the Hebrews, did to this city in their having this day destroyed one of the Canaanite cities, and were not afraid of their lives of all the land of Canaan. And these men left the city and went to the city of Taphnach, and they came there and told the inhabitants of Taphnach all that had befallen them, and all that the sons of Jacob had done to the city of Shechem. And the information reached Jasher, the king of Taphnach, and he sent men to the city of Shechem to see those young men. For the king did not believe them in this account, saying, how could two men lay waste such a large town as Shechem? Yeah, see what they did not realize. The wisdom of Yahuah will allow you to accomplish much with very little. That's what they did not know. Okay. And the messengers of Yeshua came back and told him, saying, we came into the city, and it is destroyed. There is not a man there, only weeping women. Neither is there any flock or cattle there, for all that was in the city the sons of Jacob took away. And Yeshua wondered at this, saying, how could two men do this thing, to destroy so large a city, and not one man be able to stand against them? For the like has not been done from the days of Nimrod, and not even from the remotest time has the like taken place. And Yeshua, king of Taphnach, said to his people, be courageous, and we will go and fight against these Hebrews, and do unto them as they did unto the city, and we will avenge the cause of the people of the city. And Yeshua, king of Taphnach, consulted with his counselors about this matter, and his advisor said unto him, alone you will not prevail over the Hebrews, for they must be powerful to do this work to the whole city. And if two of them laid waste the whole city, and no one stood against them, surely if you will go against them, they will all rise against us and destroy us likewise. But if you will send to all the kings that surround us, and let them come together, then we will go with them and fight against the sons of Jacob, then you will prevail against them. And Yashov heard these words of his counselors, and their words pleased him and his people, and he did so. And Yashuv, the king of Taphnach, sent to all the kings of the Amorites that surrounded Shechem and Taphnach, saying, Go up with me and assist me, and we will smite Jacob the Hebrew and all his sons, and destroy them from the earth. For thus he did do to the city of Shechem, and do you not know of it? And all the kings of the Amorites heard the word that the sons of Jacob had done to the city of Shechem, and they were greatly astonished at them. And the 7 kings of the Amorites assembled with all their armies, about 10,000 men with drawn swords, and they came to fight against the sons of Jacob. And Jacob heard that the kings of the Amorites had assembled to fight against his sons, and Jacob was greatly afraid, and it distressed him. And Jacob exclaimed against Simeon and Levi, saying, What is this act that you did? Why have you injured me to bring against me all the children of Canaan to destroy me and my household? For I was at rest, even I and my household, and you have done this thing to me and provoked the inhabitants of the land against me by your proceedings. And Judah answered his father, saying, Was it for naught that my brothers Simeon and Levi killed all the inhabitants of Shechem? Surely it was because Shechem had humbled our sister and transgressed the command of our God to Noah and his children. For Shechem took our sister away by force and broke wedlock with her. And Shechem did all this evil, and not one of the inhabitants of this city interfered with him to say, Why will you do this? Surely for my brothers we went. I'm sorry. Surely for this my brothers went and smote the city, and Yahuah delivered it into their hands because its inhabitants had transgressed the commands of our God. Is it then for naught that they have done all this? And now why are you afraid or distressed? And why are you displeased at my brothers? And why is your anger kindled against them? Surely our God, who delivered into their hand the city of Shechem and its people, he will also deliver into our hands all the Canaanite kings who are coming against us, and we will do unto them as my brothers did unto Shechem. Where is these brothers at that speak like this today unto the sons and daughters of Zion? Bruh, we need y'all to wake up and get this fire into y'all bellies like the sons of Jacob. Now, be tranquil about them and cast away your fears, but trust in Yahuah, our God, and pray unto him to assist us and deliver our enemies into our hands. I low-key be wanting the water pop off, y'all. I really do. But I'm like, Father, may your will be done. Because I be wanting to see some supernatural stuff happen. Like I be reading. Like I'm ready for it. I'm all for it. I'm like, I'm here for that. Let's go. All right. And Judah called to one of his father's servants, Go now and see where those kings who are coming against us are situated with their armies. And the servant went and looked afar off and went up opposite Mount Sicon, and saw all the camps of the kings standing in the fields. And he returned to Judah and said, Behold, the kings are situated in the field with all their camps, a people exceeding numerous, like unto the sand upon the seashore. And Judah said unto Simeon and Levi and to all his brothers, Strengthen yourselves and be sons of valor, for Yahuah Eloheinu is with us. Do not fear them. Stand forth, each man girt with his weapons of war, his bows and his sword, and we will go and fight against these uncircumcised men. Yahuah, our Elohim, he will save us. And they rose up, and each girt on his weapons of war, great and small. 11 sons of Jacob, and all the servants of Jacob with them, and all the servants of Isaac who were with Isaac in Hebron. All came to them equipped in all sorts of war instruments. And the sons of Jacob and their servants, being 112 men, went towards these kings, and Jacob also went with them. And the sons of Jacob sent unto their father Isaac, the son of Abraham, to Hebron, the same as Kiriath Arba, saying, Pray, we beseech you, for us unto Yahuah Eloheinu, to protect us from the hands of the Canaanites who are coming against us, and to deliver them into our hands. And if Isaac, the son of Abraham, prayed unto Yahuah for his sons, and he said, O Yahuah Elohim, you did promise my father, saying, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and you did also promise me and establish your word. Now that the kings of Canaan are coming together to make war with my children because they committed no violence. Now therefore, O Yahuah Elohim, the Elohim of the whole earth, I pray you, the counsel of these kings, that they may not fight against my sons, and impress the hearts of these kings and their people with the terror of my sons, and bring down their pride, that they may turn away from my sons. Like, I think this is a good prayer that we should memorize. And when we see shenanigans rising up against us and our people, we need to revert back to the prayers of our forefathers that got them answers, and pray them with faith, believe and know Yah is going to hear us. We hear. I know you feel that at times, angry at our situation. I'm telling you, man, I get heated in here. All of us in this house. Like, look, and I got multiple sons. We all be in here heated about some of the stuff that be going. I'm like, Father, do you not hear the cries of the sons and daughters of Jacob down here? Answer us, bruh. I had to contain myself sometimes, because I know, all right, Father, I know you hear us, and I know something's working behind the scenes for us right now, but I just don't see it right now, but I'm waiting on you. Then we begin to see little things happen, and little things happen, yep, and our faith increases, and Yah hears us. I'm telling you, we're going to see it on a much larger scale. We're going to begin seeing it, I'm telling y'all. Now, therefore, O Yahuah Elohim, the Elohim of the whole earth, I pray you, the counsel of these kings, that they may not fight against my sons, and impress the hearts of these kings and their people with the terror of my sons, and bring down their pride, that they may turn away from my sons, and with your strong hand and outstretched arm, deliver my sons and their servants from them, for their power and might are in your hands to do all this. And the sons of Jacob and their servants went toward these kings, and they trusted in Yahuah Elohim. And while they were going, Jacob their father also prayed unto Yahuah and said, O Yahuah Elohim, powerful and exalted Elohim. Remember, Elohim is the same word as God, right? Prayed unto Yahuah and said, O Yahuah Elohim, powerful and exalted Elohim, who has reigned from the days of old, from thence till now and forever. You are he who stirs up wars and causes them to cease. In your hand are power and might to exalt and to bring down. Oh, may my prayer be acceptable before you, that you may turn to me with your mercies, to impress the hearts of these kings and their people with the terror of my sons, and terrify them in their camps with your great kindness. Deliver all those that trust in you, for it is you who can bring people under us and rescue nations under our power. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and finish reading this. I forgot it extended into 35. So Jasher 35. Yes, baby girl. Okay, I know you're hungry too. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. Look. Go ask Dad to let you get some of those chips that I put in his closet. Okay. And all the kings of the Amorites came and took their stand in the field to consult with their counselors what was to be done with the sons of Jacob, for they were still afraid of them, saying, Behold, 2 of them slew the whole city of Shechem. And Yahuah heard the prayers of Isaac and Jacob, and he filled the hearts of these kings, and he filled the hearts of all these kings' advisors with great fear and terror, that they unanimously exclaimed, Are you silly this day? Or is there no understanding in you that you will fight with the Hebrews? And why will you take a delight in your own destruction this day? Behold, 2 of them came to the city of Shechem without fear or terror, and they killed all the inhabitants of the city, that no man stood up against them. And how will you be able to fight with them all? Surely you know that their God is exceedingly fond of them. I like that. I'm going to start using that. Surely you know that our God is exceedingly fond of us. That's why, Talem, that's why, our deliverance is nigh. because the Most High like to do things on a big scale so that the world will know that we're his sons and daughters like the time of our first Exodus. Yes, I agree 100%. Surely you know that their Elohim or their God is exceedingly fond of them and has done mighty things for them, such as has not been done from the days of old and amongst all the gods of the nations. There is no one that can do like unto his mighty deeds. Surely he delivered their father Abraham, the Hebrew, from the hand of Nimrod and from the hand of all of his people who had many times sought to slay him. He delivered him also from the fire in which King Nimrod had cast him, and his Elohim delivered him from it. Okay, he's talking about Abraham. If y'all did not read that, remember the only time we hear about people being thrown into a fire is in the book of Daniel with King Nebuchadnezzar, when he threw Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego into the flaming furnace. That was not the first time that happened. That actually happened to Abraham and his brother Haran. Haran died. I think it was Haran died, but Abraham lived. But y'all got to go back and read that. And Nimrod was exceedingly wroth with Abraham. He was exceedingly wroth with Terah, Abraham's father, because Nimrod originally thought that he had killed Abraham when he was a baby, because that they heard that there was going to be some great like some in words, they didn't say deliver, but there was going to be somebody great that was born that would be like the leader of the Hebrews or whatever. And Nimrod was looking out for that, because remember, Nimrod was the king of the entire earth and he didn't want anybody to come usurping his authority. So he was looking for that baby. He was looking for Abraham, and Terah, instead of taking Abraham when he was born, he took one of his servant women's babies and took him to Nimrod and said, here is Abraham. And right in front of Terah's face, Nimrod took that baby and smashed him to the ground and killed him, thinking he had killed Abraham. Okay, Trina, it's recorded. So when you get a break or when you get off, just listen to the rest of it. Remember, pick it back up at 1 hour and 16 minutes. Okay, we almost done. Have a good day at work, sis. Love you. All right. But you got to go back and read that story. It's really interesting. You'll read about all the other things that happened with Abraham before he even got married to Sarah, and even some of the things that they leave out after him and Sarah got married. So that's what this is talking about when Nimrod had threw Abraham into the fiery furnace, y'all. Okay. He delivered him also from the fire in which King Nimrod had cast him, and his God delivered him from it. And who else can do the like? Surely it was Abraham who slew the 5 kings of Elam when they had touched his brother's son, who in those days dwelt in Sodom, and took his servant that was faithful in his house and a few of his men, and they pursued the kings of Elam in one night and killed them, and restored to his brother's son all his property, which they had taken from him. He's talking about Lot. Remember, they came to the city and they took Lot and all his possession and his wife. When Abraham heard about it, he took the men of his household and they went, killed the kings of Elam, bought Lot and all his possessions back. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about Lot right here. And surely you know the God of these Hebrews is much delighted with them, and they are also delighted with him, for they know that he delivered them from all their enemies. And behold, through his love toward Yahuah, Abraham took his only and precious son and intended to bring him up as a burnt offering to his God. And had it not been for Yahuah who prevented him from doing this, he would have then done it through his love to his God. And Yahuah saw all his works and swore unto him and promised him that he would deliver his sons and all his seed from every trouble that would befall them, because he had done this thing, and through his love to his God stifled his compassion for his child. Have you not heard? Remember, these are the kings that are standing on this mound that are about to go to war with the sons of Jacob. Remember, these are their counselors now speaking to them like, wait a minute, y'all need to hold up. Y'all have not thought this through. And this was in response to Isaac and Jacob's prayer to Yahuah, because they knew they were about to be slaughtered. So this is how Yahuah is answering their prayer, by putting fear and terror on their advisors, because they listened to their advisors, and now their advisors are saying, hold up, wait a minute, we need to reconsider this. And have you not heard what their Elohim did to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to the Amalekite, king of Gerar, through taking Abraham's woman, who said of her, she is my sister, lest they might slay him on account of her, and think of taking her for a woman? And Yahuah did unto them and their people all that you heard of. And behold, we ourselves saw with our eyes that Esau, the brother of Jacob, came to him with 400 men with the intention of slaying him, for he called to mind that he had taken away from him his father's blessing. And he went to meet him. And when he came from Aram to smite the mother with children, who delivered him from his hands, but Yahuah, in whom he trusted. He delivered him from the hands of his brother, and also from the hands of his enemies, and surely again he will protect them. Who does not know that this was their God who inspired them with the strength to do to the town of Shechem the evil which you heard of? He pretty much saying, how y'all know it wasn't their God that told them to go do this to the city? Y'all gotta think. Could it be with their own strength that 2 men could destroy such a large city as Shechem, had it not been for their God in whom they trusted? He said and did unto them all this to slay the inhabitants of the city in their city. And can you then prevail over them who have come forth together from your city to fight the whole of them, even if 1,000 times as many more should come to your assistance? Surely you know and understand that you do not come to fight with them, but you come to war with their God, who made a choice of them, and you have therefore all come this day to be destroyed. Bruh, you better say that again. Like, we need to memorize that. Oh, don't think you come to fight against us, but you come to war against our God. And today you have made the choice to die. Like, whoo, I get so excited, I get amped up. Okay, I'm gonna just read that again because it's good. Verse 19, Jasher chapter 35. Surely you know and understand that you do not come to fight with them, but you come to war with their God, who made choice of them, and you have therefore all come this day to be destroyed. Now therefore refrain from this evil which you are endeavoring to bring upon yourselves, and it will be better for you not to go to battle with them, although they are but few in numbers, because their Elohim is with them. And when the kings of the Amorites heard all the words of their advisors, their hearts were filled with terror, and they were afraid of the sons of Jacob and would not fight against them. And they inclined their ears to the words of their advisors, and they listened to all their words. And the words of the counselors greatly pleased the kings, and they did so. And the kings turned and refrained from the sons of Jacob, for they dared not approach them to make war with them, for they were greatly afraid of them, and their hearts melted within them from their fear of them. For this proceeded from Yahuah to them, for he heard the prayers of his servant Isaac and Jacob, for they trusted in him. And all these kings returned to their camps on that day, each to his own city. And they did not at that time fight with the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob kept their station that day until evening, opposite Mount Sihon. And seeing that these kings did not come to fight against them, the sons of Jacob returned home. Boy, that story blows my mind every time. If your faith ever needs to be infused, you need to come back to Jasher and go through this story again, and so you can see, and it'll take you through, and it'll remind you of all the things that Yahuah has constantly done from Abraham up until this time. Is y'all crazy that you would think to fight against the Hebrews? Do you not know he has made choice of them and they him, and he show up every time for them? And watch the fear of Yahuah flood the hearts of your enemies. We don't even have to lift a hand. Like our people out here marching and screaming and protesting and crying out to the government to give us stuff. Y'all crying out to the wrong one. Yahuah has made choice of us. And if we would again make choice of him, he would then begin to affect the hearts of our enemies. Preach. And great fear and terror would again flood the hearts of those who would dare to touch us. Bruh. Okay, y'all. I know today was long, but we had to get it all in today. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and go to Numbers and do the blessing, and then we'll be out of here. Trina, if you're still here, well, if she gone, well, I'll keep you. I'll make a little note to come back at an hour and a 16-minute mark when you dropped out, so you can get the last 10 minutes or so. All right, y'all. So the blessing is found, y'all know where, in Numbers chapter 6. Y'all, I'm amped up. Okay, so the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6. And this is how Yahuah told the sons of Aaron to bless his people. This is the blessing wherewith we should always bless Yahuah's people, wherewith we should always bless the sons and daughters of Jacob. Remember, the first 21 verses of Numbers chapter 6 is the Nazarite vow. All right. And Yahuah spake unto Moses, speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, may Yahuah bless us and keep us. May Yahuah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. So it is Tuesday, December the 1st, 2020, day 12 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. And it is day 682 of the 3-year consecutive day count. And we read Genesis 34, 35, and 36. And of the companion reading in Jasher that fills in all the details that Genesis did not have, it was Jasher 33, 34, and 35. Okay, comment. This is why they never wanted us to read about this, because they knew that it would strengthen us, and then their fallen ones comes as fast as they can imagine. Yep, you got that right. You're welcome. You're welcome. I enjoy reading this to y'all. Okay, y'all. So with that being said, I love you all, and I will see y'all bright and early on the morrow, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, y'all. Gotta go. Peace.